The Jellyfish Adventure in the Luminous Reef. Once upon a time, deep in the underwater world of the Luminous Reef, there lived a curious and adventurous jellyfish named Flobby. Flobby was unlike any other jellyfish on the reef, his bright pink body glowing a pretty pink light amongst the deep blues, purples, and greens of his surroundings. What made Flobby particularly special was his longing to explore the vastness of the Luminous Reef and beyond, to discover its secrets and find new and exciting creatures. One day, Flobby was exploring his usual patch of the reef and something particularly fascinating caught his eye, a wooden chest half buried in the sand. Flobby was so excited that he barely noticed the shadow that loomed nearby, coming ever closer. All of a sudden, from out of the shadows appeared a giant sea monster, with huge blue eyes, a giant mouth and giant pointy teeth. He opened his mouth wide waiting for Flobby to become his lunch. Flobby was very brave and decided to take his chance. He quickly swam inside the wooden chest, careful not to be eaten. When he reached the safety of the chest, he heard the monster's deep voice boom around him. "Oh no. You don't. You are not getting away from me that easily." Flobby, not sure what else to do, decided to hide. Knowing that he could not be seen by the monster, he wrapped himself in a pink scarf, and with that, he disappeared from view. But little did he know that something strange was about to happen. As soon as the monster's jaws slid closed over the chest, the scarf began to glow, and its pink light spread all around Flobby. Just then, Flobby could feel the wooden chest move. It had magically transformed into a pink submarine and started to rise up through the water. Up and up they went, the fish swimming around them curiously until they reached the surface. And when it stopped, Flobby could not believe his eyes. He had been transported to a whole new underwater world, filled with brightly colored coral, dazzling tropical fish, and even a mermaid. Flobby could see that this place was very different than the Luminous Reef. He was so amazed by the sights and sounds that he completely forgot about the monster chasing him. But then, from behind him came the monster's roar again, and he remembered why he was here. It was then that the mermaid stepped forward. She waved her hands and a magical bubble surrounded them both, protecting them from the monster's grasp. Then, with a mighty flick of her tail, she steered the bubble away from the monster and back to the Luminous Reef. When they arrived back at the Luminous Reef, Flobby was nearly in shock. He couldn't believe that such an adventure had happened to him. But he was also glad to be back. He could now tell everyone about his jellyfish adventure in the Luminous Reef. As he said goodbye to the mermaid, he waved his pink light around in the air, thanking her for the magical experience. Flobby was welcomed back by all the creatures of the Luminous Reef, and every night, he told his story to the other jellyfish, who listened in wide-eyed amazement. To this day, Flobby remains an adventurer and tells the story of his jellyfish adventure in the Luminous Reef to all who will listen. So if you ever find yourself in the Luminous Reef, remember to look out for Flobby and his pink light. That's how you'll know that he is there on an adventure.